Hello, my name is Michael Toppin.
And my name is Julian Adler. So this week already, I have had the privilege of testifying on two pieces of educational legislation. One sponsored by Ray Peppers, and the other one sponsored by Jonathan Windyboy. The first, sponsored by Ray Peppers, extends eligibility for financial scholarships from Purple Heart recipients to Purple Heart recipients and those with higher honors. This is very important to MontPIRG and students at large because it increases access to education for those who have served our country with valor. Second piece of legislation by Jonathan Windyboy creates a working group to coordinate credit information from tribal colleges all the way to other units of the Montana University system. This means that credits that weren't transferable or credits that had trouble being transferred between programs would be targeted and made more transferable. Coming up this week, a couple of pieces of legislation to keep your eye on. Sue Malik has Senate Bills 120 and 121. 120 adds a fee to disposable plastic bags and appropriates this fee for a number of different uses. Senate Bill 121 prohibits or discourages restaurants from using extra plastic straws unless they're asked for, which also decreases waste. Final bill to watch out for this week, Andrea Olson's bill, requiring utilities to report a plan for 100% renewable energy use. This will be making its way through House Energy and Telecommunications on Wednesday.
This week I testified on two bills, the first of which made it so that soldiers who are serving overseas have the ability to use an electronic signature when they are registering to vote or voting absentee. Good voting reform for our men and women overseas. The second bill that I testified on this week was a clean government bill that came from the Commissioner of Political Practices to remove petty cash from Montana state campaigns and switch purely to debit card. This just allowed it to track spending more directly, and it creates less paperwork for candidates, and it creates less paperwork for the Office of Political Practices. Coming up this week, I am testifying on a bill in House Judiciary that will create punishments for people who post revenge porn, images of people in the nude without their consent. And just to keep something on your radar, this last week Senate Bill 143 was proposed, which would eliminate same-day voter registration and scale back the time in which Montanans can register to vote. This is a terrible bill which will dilute the power of young people, the elderly, Native voices, any people that are disenfranchised in the Montana community, and we need to be focusing our full firepower on making sure that this bill does not make it through the legislature. Last week we also had the opportunity to welcome people from across the state to the Capitol for the Rally for the Public Lands.
It was pretty great. Bullock spoke, amongst others.
There was a surprise visit from Senator Jon Tester.
Yes, a surprise visit from Senator Jon Tester. The rotunda was filled, the stairway was filled. Apparently people like public lands.
Montanans from across the state came together to send a message loud and clear to the legislature that public lands belong in public hands, and that any attempt to remove public lands from federal control will be met with hostility and getting voted out of office.